All right, hello there, welcome back to another wee bit different video. Today's video, with the NFL playoffs nearing very closely, I feel that I really want to just focus more on the playoff outcomes, because last week I did a playoff video, and this week with, games that have passed that have been pivotal. For example, the Packers beating the Vikings, basically eliminating the Vikings, and the Packers playing for a win and in. There are scenarios that I want to update you guys on if you're not aware of it, and if you are aware of it, I want to talk a little bit about the playoff matchups. So first things first, looking at the AFC side, the Ravens did clinch first round bye, so they are resting Lamar Jackson. That news just came out pretty recently. If the playoffs did end today, though, the Dolphins would play the Colts. I would definitely take the Dolphins to win, but I will say this: with the Dolphins suffering another big injury in Bradley Chubb, it is going to be hard for them defensively, man. It really is. Chiefs and Bills. Honestly, I would take the Bills. To be honest with you guys, I think the Bills have just been striving, been doing a lot better. Defense has been holding up really well. Offense is always capable of exploding. I think I would take the Bills to beat the Chiefs. Browns and Jags, I would take the Browns. And yeah, I don't think the Jags have any chance unless Joe Flacco is throwing interceptions, which he's shown a tendency to do, in his brief tenure with the Browns, but he's just throwing and passing for so many yards, it doesn't really matter too much. But in the playoffs, that can always come back to bite you in the ass. In the NFC side, Niners have secured the first round bye, so they're good to go there. The Cowboys will play the Packers if the playoffs ended today. And I will say, I would take the Cowboys all day, every day. It would be a little bit of a revenge game with the whole Dez. It wasn't a catch thing. Rams and Lions, though, at 6 and 6 seed, and then the Lions at 3rd seed. I would 100% take the Lions. I think that would be a spicy, very spicy headline of Jared Goff playing his former team, Matthew Stafford playing his former team. After the trade went down, of course, it was a win-win. They both benefited, but this would be, in my opinion, a really good matchup. And then at 5 and 4, Eagles and Bucks, I still would take the Eagles. I know people are shitting on the Eagles as of late, but I think that a lot of that is a slump more than just a permanent, they're just not very good now. I think every team goes through slumps. For example, the 49ers lost 3 games in a row, but now no one's talking about it because they're good. And I think the Eagles will prove again that they are still good. Okay, so let's look at some NFC scenarios and how teams can clinch their divisions or playoff spots. So Dallas can clinch the NFC East division title with a win. If they win, doesn't matter. They got it no matter what. If they don't win, and let's say they tie, they would need Philadelphia to tie. If they lose, they also need Philadelphia to lose. And who they both play, let me pull it up very briefly. Dallas are going to play the Commanders. Philly is going to play the Giants. I fully expect both of these teams to win, to be honest with you, but Dallas should be remaining at the 2nd seed if they handle business. Tampa can clinch the NFC South division title with a Tampa Bay win or a tie and New Orleans loss or tie. To be honest with you, it's going to be hectic, I think, with Tampa Bay, because who do they play? The Panthers, but the Panthers have been playing a lot harder in previous weeks. Not so much last week, but Panthers have been playing, with more heart since Frank Reich left. And the Saints just came off a huge win against the Bucks. But they're going to play Atlanta. And Atlanta, man, they're a weird team, dude. They're a really weird team. So we'll see. Tampa, you win, you're in. For whatever reason, though, if Tampa doesn't win, they can still clinch a playoff berth with a tie, a Seattle loss, and a Green Bay loss or tie. So basically, if they lose, they're out. That's actually what it is. They cannot afford to lose. They need to win. So there's that. Philadelphia's is pretty obvious. They flat out need Dallas to lose. No excuses, unless they win, Dallas ties. But yeah, they need to win, and Dallas just needs to lose. So this is a very interesting outlook here. There's 6 possible playoff scenarios, but realistically, you win and you're in. If you tie, you're asking for too much. Seattle and New Orleans to lose. Who does Seattle play, by the way? I didn't even look at that. Seattle plays Arizona. So Seattle's expected to win for sure. But yeah, if Green Bay ties, you're not getting these to happen. Like, there's just no way. Also, if the Packers lose, they would need still to clinch a playoff berth for Minnesota to lose or tie, Seattle to lose, Tampa Bay to lose. And that's just, nah, dude. It's not, you win and you're in, basically. All these other things, it'd be really difficult to happen. Seattle can clinch a playoff berth with a win and a Green Bay loss, or a tie and other stuff. But again, it's really going to come down to them just winning. Okay, I don't know why I didn't do this earlier, but I'm zooming in now, so hopefully that makes things a little bit easier. But anyway, Seattle needs to win and Green Bay to lose. You know, there's this whole tie scenario here, but it just comes down to you win and a Green Bay loss or tie. New Orleans can clinch the NFC South Division title with a win and a Tampa Bay loss or tie. And they can clinch a playoff berth with New Orleans win, Seattle loss or tie, Green Bay loss or tie. Gotta win though. Just like all these other situations, it's just must wins. Minnesota still technically has a chance. They just need the world to go in their favor. They can get in if Green Bay loses, Seattle loses, and Tampa Bay loses, or New Orleans, by the way. But they need to win. In every scenario, of course, they need to win, but they guaranteed need these two teams to lose and one of these two teams to lose, which it's a lot to ask for, but hey, you're technically not out of it, so you got to go balls to the wall, because Green Bay's playing Chicago, who's been playing amazing, and Seattle, I mean, they should beat the Cardinals, but it's not a guarantee. And this one is actually really interesting. If Atlanta wins, if they beat the Saints, they can clinch with Tampa Bay losing. So Tampa Bay, that game affects Atlanta, New Orleans, Minnesota. Who else does it affect? I mean, technically it affects Seattle. It technically affects Green Bay. But mostly the Vikings and the Falcons, it greatly affects. I mean, and the Saints, of course, because Saints want to have the division. Okay, looking at the AFC scenarios here, Miami can clinch the AFC East division title with a win or a tie. This is a big game for them because let's go back way up here. Miami would drop from the 2 seed to the 6 seed probably, because I'm going to assume, I mean, Cleveland could lose this week. They'd be either 5th or 6th seed. They would go from playing the Colts or someone in the 7th seed to possibly the Chiefs or the Jags. Honestly, I mean, even then, that Jags game greatly depends on the Texans and Colts, and even if they can win. So there's a lot going on here, but I would just much rather play the 7th seed. So take the win, get your spot at home instead of having to play away. This is actually a big game for Miami. Jacksonville can clinch the AFC South division title with a win or a tie in Houston and Indiana tie. But basically, you win, you're in for that secured home playoff spot, and that's a big deal. For whatever reason, though, if Jacksonville loses, they would need Pittsburgh to lose, Denver to lose, and Houston or Indiana to lose, which is a lot to ask for, considering especially since the Ravens are resting Lamar Jackson. And yeah, that's just, you win and you're in, dude. Buffalo can clinch the AFC East division title with a Buffalo win, and that would be massive because then they would be playing the 6th seed, or how would that work? Let's see. If Buffalo won, they would be 11-6. Would they jump to the 2nd seed? Oh, that would change things a lot because then KC might be the 2nd seed. No. Buffalo would have tiebreaker against KC. Would they have tiebreaker against Cleveland, though? Wait, no. Cleveland can't jump to 2nd seed. That doesn't even make sense because Baltimore owns that division. So basically, if Buffalo wins, they jump to 2nd seed. Because it doesn't matter what KC does. They don't have tiebreaker. So Buffalo would play the 7th seeded team, which could be the Steelers, Jacksonville, Indiana, Houston. I mean, you definitely want to play against one of those teams as opposed to a KC matchup. Oh yeah, This is a huge game for both Miami and Buffalo, no doubt. For whatever reason, though, if Buffalo loses, they need Pittsburgh to lose, or Jacksonville to lose, or or Houston and Indiana tie. But if they lose, they could possibly knock themselves off of the playoffs, just like that. Oh man, it's getting hectic out here. It's getting very hectic. Indianapolis can clinch the AFC South Division with a win and a Jacksonville loss, or a tie and a Jacksonville loss. Basically, they need to win and a Jacksonville loss, and they can clinch a playoff berth with a win flat out. Doesn't matter. But if they lose, it's over. They're out. So Houston can clinch the AFC South Division title with a win and a Jacksonville loss, and then the same thing with the playoff berth. They need a win, a Jacksonville loss, and a Pittsburgh loss. So Houston is in a bit more shit here. And then finally, Pittsburgh can clinch a playoff berth with either a Pittsburgh win and a Buffalo loss, a Pittsburgh win and a Jaguars loss, a Pittsburgh win and a Houston and Indiana tie, a Pittsburgh tie, and basically, yeah, some bullshit. And then, oddly enough, even if they lose, they would need Jacksonville to lose, Denver to win, and then Houston and Indiana that, can't end in a tie. But, it's possible that Buffalo does lose. It's possible Jacksonville loses. And if they win, Houston and Indiana isn't ending in a tie. They basically guaranteed need Buffalo or Jacksonville to lose for them to have a chance, which would suck for them because they're 10-7, which, dude, that is, they would be 10-7 if they won. That would suck if they didn't make it. What's confusing me though is that even if Houston won, they still need Pittsburgh and Jacksonville to lose. How does that make sense? Okay, so yeah, I knew something was off here. Let me go back to show you guys what I'm talking about. So Houston, it says here, can clinch a playoff berth with a Houston win, Jacksonville loss, or Pittsburgh loss and tie. But that doesn't make sense because they would already have the division. I guess technically it's a playoff berth. But if they win, they're just flat out in. It doesn't matter what happens. Oh, geez, advertisements. If they win, according to Texans Daily, which is, kind of about the Texans in a way, winning, you're in. It's that simple for the Houston Texans entering week 18's matchup against the Colts. Lose and, that's it. You're done. So a must win. Can't tie, can't lose. Doesn't matter. If they win, they at the very, very least secure the 7th spot in the wild card. Okay, so that's clearing that up. Houston winning in, along with other teams, must wins and, funky scenarios that could happen, but probably are not too realistic. But as always, I appreciate you guys for watching. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below about your team's chances or about how you think the playoffs will pan out. But anyway, I appreciate you guys for watching. As always, this is All We've Been Different. All we've been different. And we out.